Okay, now let's take a look at what lines to take against fish post-flop. Some of the strategies, some strategies that we're going to be looking at here is after we isolate post-flop. And this is also going to apply for any time that, say, you raise cutoff versus small blind and the fish calls, or button versus big blind and the fish call. It's also going to apply for every time that you have position in a single raise pot. So these are the sort of reactions that I'd like to see you guys make on these sort of boards. And some of these are going to be exceptionally obvious, so I'll run over them really quickly. Others might take a little more detail. And in the end, I have some summaries just to back up the overall thought process I'm thinking about, regardless of what two cards we're holding and board texture. You can pretty much sum it up pretty easily. So if we have a hand like King 10 on Queen Jack 4, really easy c-bet. Obviously, we don't have a great showdown value, but our hand has so many outs, and the board's a good easy c-bet board, so is a good board to c-bet rather. So therefore, really easy c-bet. If we have King 10 on Deuce Deuce 3, easy c-bet again, because they're going to be calling with so many of those cards, like 9-8, Jack 9, hands like that, that while we are ahead of a decent amount of his range, we don't want to give him 6 outs just for the heck of it. So, really easy c-bet in that situation. For example, if we have a board such as 7-8-9, I think this is actually a really easy check back on the flop. The reason for this is that's going to hit his overall calling range a lot, and if he has any draw, or any pair, or any ace high, like good ace high hand, or any pocket pair, he's going to be calling with all of those. So that's going to take out so much of the deck in that situation that we're really never going to get him to fold all that often. So therefore, I'd like to see you guys check back that sort of board, and then on the turn or the river, we can exploit their passivity by betting the turn or the river more often than not. If we have King 10 on a Jack 10 forward, easy c-bet. I think a lot of players against regulars, rightfully so. I check back this board a lot against regulars. Before it became really popular, I used to do it very often. And then when people started figuring it out a little bit more, then I started to mix in c-bets on this board. But because fish are going to call you so light in these situations, they're going to be calling with all their draws. They're going to be calling with any pocket pair, any 4 in their hand, any ace queen, potentially even hands that are even lighter than this, such as ace 9, ace 8. That is going to show a lot of profitability. And I would also be betting almost every turn besides maybe a queen. Yeah, that actually might be it. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's about it, honestly. Every other card I think I'd bet. Maybe not a ace as well. If we have King 10 on a King 8, 7, 4 Jack, this would be a really easy triple barrel spot in my opinion. Again, they can just be calling with so many middle pairs, draws, hands like that, even a hand like King Deuce suited, that it's going to be wildly profitable for you guys. Again, the adjustment that I would make, because we don't need to keep a balanced range, which we've already established previously, is that if we have a hand such as Ace King on the same exact board, or King Jack, we can make those bets on the turn and river much bigger than we would with our hand like King 10. But because they're so exploitable, we can use bet sizing to exploit them. Let's take a look at another type of hand. If we have a weak ace high hand, such as ace 4, on a King 3-2 board, even though we probably have their range slightly ahead here, so checking back wouldn't be the end of the world, I really like this as an easy c-bet, because even though they're going to be calling with a lot of hands, that board is just such a good c-betting board. The 1 high, 2 low board, as you guys know, is a really nice c-betting board that we can just continue to, that we should be able to take the pot down a lot of the times here. If we have something more wet, like a 10-9-5 board, I much prefer checking it back here. And I would also much prefer checking this back as opposed to a hand maybe like King Jack that doesn't have as much showdown. They're still going to be letting you get to showdown very easily, and a lot of times ace 4 you can get to showdown with the best hand. Or if the board gets a little more wet, or maybe you have some reason to think that they have a better ace high hand than you or something like that, then you can always check back flop and check back turn to use their passivity and their lack of creativity in small pots, and that they don't understand the importance of small pots, to take it away on the river. Another example maybe of a really really strong hand for you guys, which is ace 4 and 4-4 deuce. I would actually check back this hand, which is something I rarely do in really many situations when I have a big hand. And the reason for this is that their range is just so wide when they limp call, is that I'm expecting them to miss this board so often that I should actually give them one chance to catch up here.